Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna walk you through how I created this creepy but kinda badass Backrooms Nissan GTR animation using Blender. If you're into cars, 3D, or just weird internet horror spaces, you're gonna love this. Let's get into it. To kick things off, I went to Sketchfab and grabbed 2 free 3D models that had the Backrooms look, such as this one and this. Also make sure to download them at FBX, Blend, or GLTF file. I added the links for this websites down in the description, so feel free download them. After downloading the models, I opened where the models is downloaded. Here, we're going to extract the zips. Open them and look inside the source folder. Here, if you see a zip file, extract it. Now open Blender and import the Backroom and Nissan models. Now here on my left side of the screen, you can show my mouse and keyboard input. That way you can see what buttons I'm clicking. If it doesn't show here, I might be scrolling. Now let's import our Nissan. First off, go to File, Import, and then your model type, which mine is FBX. Now this folder should pop up and locate your models. Inside Source folder, your model should be there. Once you found it, click Import. Now you can see that the model is in separate objects. We'll use Parent to put them all in group. Create a new collection and drag all the car pieces inside it. Now select one object of the car and hold Shift S. While holding, move your cursor downwards and let the shifts go. Now this little circle thing should be in the middle of your car. Now add an empty. Use S to scale it. Once scaled, put the empty inside the collection we created earlier. Now select all the car pieces using Shift and Control-click the empty. It should have a different color than the rest of the car pieces. Now right-click the empty and select Parent and Object. Now select the empty and use R to rotate it, G to move it, and right-click to cancel the movements you've done. Now you can see that you can move all the pieces using one mesh. Now we're going to separate the wheels and add their own empty. Here select your wheels, the tire, and rims. Once selected, right-click and go to Parent, Clear and keep transformation. That should remove the parent we did earlier. Now right-click again and click Set Origin to Geometry. Now select the tires and hold Shift AS and move your cursor downwards. Now here let's add an empty, scale it to your liking. Now here toggle your directions on and click on the Z. Now you're on top view. Here we're going to use X-ray by pressing Alt-Z. Here we're going to line up our empty to the wheel's rotation. Press R followed by Z and drag your mouse to rotate it in the Z axis. Once you've done that, we're going to parent it. Start by selecting the wheel pieces and lastly select the empty. Here, parent it again. Now you can rotate it to fit the other wheels. I'm going to rename my parent just in case I can't find it. Now here, we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to fast forward this part since it's the same thing we just did. You can slow it down using YouTube's slow feature. Now, after we finished adding empty on our wheels, we need to parent it to the car's parent, so that way it won't do this. You can see that when I move the car's empty, the wheel is not attached. We're going to fix that. First off, go to this side and shift-click the car's empty and select all the wheels is empty, and then right-click and parent it. Now, if we move the car's empty, the wheels are now attached. Now on this part, I'm planning on where to put my car. Also, you can hide objects by selecting the objects and pressing H, and to unhide it, press Alt-H. Alrighty, here select the camera and right-click and set it as active camera. Since I want a more old look for scary moods, I'm changing the camera's aspect ratio to 4:3. Now we're going to reset our camera's rotation so it doesn't mess up the orientation. Now, some of you from my last video couldn't figure out how to fly camera, so I'm going to show you. While in camera view, press Shift and this symbol Tide. Once you've done that, you can control your camera as if you're in a game. Position your camera to wherever you want. This part you don't have to copy me unless you wanted to. Here press the K key to add keyframe. Always select the data you want to animate, for example, location and rotation. Once you picked that, you should be able to see this yellow keyframe. This is our starting keyframe. Now you can move this blue line to decide where to put your second keyframe and do the same process. Now if you play it, you should be able to see some movements. If the movement is slow, you can drag the second keyframe closer to the first one, and if it's too fast, just move the second keyframe away from the first one. Now do this until you created this kind of movement. You can also change the animation's interpolation. You can fully customize it, but it's going to take a complex tutorial for that. So we're just going to pick some presets that is already in Blender. By selecting the keyframes, press T, and here you can select any keyframe interpolation. To make the movement stay or freeze for a second or so, you can duplicate the same keyframe and move it forward. You should be able to see this line. Once finished, it should look like this. Now we're going to change our directory. Go to this tab and scroll down until you find the folder. Press it and select where to put your exported files. Now here, we're going to add a little bit of that camera shake. First off, go to Edit, Preferences and Add-ons. Here, search Shakify and press this check icon to enable it. Now go to Camera's Properties and open the Shakify option. Here, press the plus, and this investigation thing should add. You can change it to however you like. Now if we play the animation, you should notice some shakes. Now this part is optional, you can skip this if you want. I'm just adding 3D watermark. Now if you change your view to rendered and see your car all dark, it's probably because it doesn't have a light. Here, just copy what I do. Now you can see that it now have a light. Now we're going to render to see if it's good or not, because rendered view is much different than the final. Here is the final render. It doesn't look good as I thought. Well, it is expected from Eevee. Since that render sucks, we're going to change our rendering engine to Cycles. Now go to Render Properties. Here you can change the render engine to Eevee or Cycles. Here is my settings. Also, here is the comparison between Eevee and Cycles. Now you can see which one looks better and more realistic. Keep in mind that Cycles uses a lot of CPU or GPU power, and it can take up to 5 minutes to render just one frame, depending on your computer specs. On the other hand, Eevee can render a frame in about half a second. Since I've already shown you how to animate, you should be able to do it on your own now. What I'm doing right now is adding markers to help me figure out where each clip starts and ends. I'll fast forward through this part because I'm honestly too lazy to go through it step by step. If you run into any issues or have questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'm happy to help. Also, if you're getting an error when moving your camera, try turning off or removing the Shakify effect. You can always add it back later, just be sure to remember the values you used. Here is the full video without rendering. Now that we've finished all the animation and stuff, it's time to move on to rendering. I'm going to show you my render settings. You can copy them if you want, but just a heads up, they might lower your video quality a bit. I'm using a low-spec laptop, so I have to keep things light. Also, congrats on making it this far. You survived my editing and my communication skills. Props to you. Alright, let's do a quick render test using cycles. This one took 5 minutes and 24 seconds to render a single frame, which is kind of insane. Now that the test is done, let's go ahead and render the whole animation. Just hit render and then render animation. This is the result without any edits or special effects. Wait for my next video. I'll be doing a tutorial in After Effects on how to go from this to this. Stay tuned and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.